I think I hear your companion. It's time. Farewell, then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence. Remember, if you see Vacher, tell him not to seek me out any longer.
Wake up! Come on, hurry! Navi is outnumbered!
Demoiselle, look out!
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Chlorand. But before I do so, I believe that following someone without their knowledge is actually called stalking, is it not?
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to ensure your safety, and I will not betray his trust. He would do the same, were he alive today.
Do not speak of my father!
Sorry, Demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss Chlorand, but do keep an eye out for your manner of
Sorry,
Whatever. What else do you...
I doubt I know much more than you. Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
Huh. I'm sure they've known about me. To be honest, I'm shocked. And what about these Gardamex? I thought only those associated with the Maison Gardiennage could control them.
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. They are not the one. I can only conclude that some powerful or wealthy party must have obtained them via illegal means, deploying them as a private force of sorts.
What? Your point being that they're out of Spina di Rosula's league, then?
Yes. Be careful, and do not act rashly.
I will continue investigating no matter what. We will bring the truth to light. Regardless, thank you for your help today, Chlorand. But if you get any ideas, tell me first. I don't much appreciate being followed.
I do not think that they'll strike again anytime soon. So I shall stop following you. Good day, all.
Right. I suppose that's the best news we've gotten today.
Demoiselle, I believe that Miss Chlorand was being sincere.
I know, she's...
Oh, thank goodness! I thought we were done for! Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Nadia and her gang saved us! Oh, and there was that champion duelist named Chlorand who came out to...
Oh, come now. Forget all that polite talk. That wasn't really a farewell meal we had back there. Not for me, anyway. In truth, I hope that every meal we have together shall be a victory feast. As such, we're still partners. There's no need...
It will take 50 years for me to match Demoiselle's magnanimity.
If it were me, I would have joined the Spina di Rosula on account of her goodwill long ago.
All right, you two. That's enough.
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger? You sure did show up in the nick of time.
Well, to be honest, you're the one who tipped us off, Paimon.
Huh? Really? Paimon contributed somehow? Oh, Paimon's even more amazing than she thought!
Yes, all thanks to you grabbing my drink by mistake.
How did that help?
After we parted ways, I was on the way back to one of our bases when I suddenly thought of what you said. That the Fanta tasted kinda salty and icky. Fanta only comes in sweet flavors. So how could it have tasted salty?
So the Fanta had been spiked with...
Yes. So if you hadn't drunk that cup for me...
Spina di Rosula is preparing the grandest of awards for you as we speak.
Huh? Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer to investigate. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger.
What? Why would they go after us, too? All we did was defend Linny in court and help clear his name. Oh, now we're caught up in this mess, too, aren't we?
Well, you did foil a plan that they were probably... Speaking of which, did anything strange happen when you drank the primordial seawater?
Well, it can't be coincidence that the traveler fainted. Oh, and this time Paimon heard it too. But it was real faint. Does this situation have to do with the primordial seawater then? Does that mean...
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad thing, to be honest.
New intel? While you were out cold?
Well, let's hear it, shall... Oh, that is important. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. I suppose he hasn't stepped forward as a witness in court lately. Since he saw that young woman dissolve, he was at least at the crime scene. But he never gave testimony or any information regarding people dissolving in the primordial seawater. Could he have been... threatened? Yes, thank you. This is very important information indeed. We will continue to investigate. Oh, you mean you'll help us
Well, you did say that our farewell meal didn't. And besides, we're in this now whether we like it or not.
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite so...
You talk too much. Well, in that case, we also have some plans to go over, and hopefully we can deepen our bonds as...
Don't worry, you two. With us around, our base is definitely secure.
It's right up ahead, but let's make...
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone
Very good. But let's not let our guard down for now.
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, traveler.
unimagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present...
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if...
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago. I'm afraid I'm not quite his equal.
Your father...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to explain.
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And, as part, my father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor, instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss would crop up and prove his innocence. But strangely, he not only requested that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender, determined to die in the arena. 3 years later, I still don't understand why he did that. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the bottom of that case.
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in, but I haven't found a single new clue in my countless reviews of the investigation records. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, they must know something. I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a hand.
Demoiselle, please, if there is anything I can do...
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. There are none whom I respect more than the two of you, Demoiselle. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he was accused?
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive to people from Fontaine, really. Everyone's like that. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good people fall into an abyss from one slip-up just as much.
But how could... Never mind. If Callus was really falsely accused, we have to find the truth. He didn't deserve to have that happen to him.
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel was...
Oh, her? Well, then, isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah, that's not the sort of thing that you can just let go and move on from.
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't she knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute in the arena, there was only ever one choice she could have made.
It's not that I don't...
Don't worry, Navi.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care of me? All right, anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will ensure you rest.
Paimon slept so well. This place feels almost too safe. Huh? Navia? Where did the other two go?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off your back. But never mind that. When did you get back? Were you waiting here the whole time?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the—
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match anywhere. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vacher person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years. If the Oceanid you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information there.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice for you. In that case, let's go talk to him, shall we? Aren't you coming along, Navia? Did you get tired?
No, it's nothing. Let's go see the Honorable Chief Justice. The Palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Neuvillette's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our rules make no exceptions.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a reason to be here.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Thanks so much.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Neuvillette. We only lied to get in because we didn't know
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case...
Who knew that Neuvillette would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case, criminal or civil, in the past several years. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret his passing.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you. You even told me then that you thought in your eyes the value of a human life is nothing. If you truly regret my father's death, why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing everything? Was hanging on a thread. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. So many questions he still owes me answers to. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in your heart and never say a word to anyone. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express anything. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You don't...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? Yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have...
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great. Let's go then.
Whoa, what a huge ship! Why would a ship be anchored at a place like this?
There's no need to be so surprised. While it may look like a ship, it's actually Spina di Rosula's headquarters. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasionally had in common. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group was such a hit, but now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself, she's been convinced.
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base, our home. We're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court.
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father's case had something to do with water from the primordial sea? You still remember, right, Malus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Could you tell us a...
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, at a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood.
Wait!
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost... If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse, and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to recognizing that. My father decided to contact the dealers in secret, and the man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a...
Huh? How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of... Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, but, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third... You're right.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that I think this... On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, our opponent is it. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and there is no need to follow your father's path.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the dark. What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect... Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that, ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, demoiselle...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live, and the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough. Knowing all of this, but as long as you remain safe, if something were to happen to you, then he and all...
Right, so nobody...
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard. especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved, I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up everything precisely because... Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Huh. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where synth is produced. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to full retaliation.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
Huh. That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. But things are different now. It should be—
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets.
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered anything new in the past few years?
Let me think. One conclusion I came to is that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an informant planted here. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, if the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? Thanks to his position within... There's someone else like him, too. Marcel, the head of Conf...
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest...
So, they're like a sister organization of...
Yes, you can say that. It's a bit difficult.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guard. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry...
I see. To think that the enemy we've been
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry.
Of course. And thank you,
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean, after that incident, Jacques, if it might help, you could also pay them a...
Aw, thank you so much, punishment.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work to...
One with nature.
It is settled, then. Please...
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Melissa.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything?
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened,
If it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that comes...
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full...
I'm sorry. I appreciate this. On the matter regarding my husband,
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought mora was everything. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he tried to be as careful as he could.
They found out about...
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive and after he passed away. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what—
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your papa was a good man, right?
Yeah, Papa was a really good man. The best in the whole world.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must have had his reasons, regardless of whether he left you a parasol.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will...
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time...
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way. So please don't worry.
Time to go. Follow the wind. The wind's rosy. Follow the wind.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened.
Yeah, I've heard.
It also reminded me. After my partner here put the... Can you do me a favor and try to...
After that, my first react. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands.
Big fan,
All
bro.
we could do was look back and forth at each other, not knowing what to say.
Okay, bro, big fan,
So
big
you
fan.
also remember 2 gunshots then?
இப்பதான் பார்த்தேன் நான் chat
Indeed.
பார்க்கல
The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone,
மியூட் பண்ணி
while the second killed Jacques. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. But according to the guard, about the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person there?
At least from our perspective, the gun he was holding probably belonged to...
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But hold on, he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine. And chose instead... Did he lose all faith in the courts?
About that, Malus told me I'll tell you everything.
I understand. And if I may just say what many people have... But it was Mr. Callus, no matter what others...
Don't worry. You and all our other comrades at the... Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what?
Oh, so
Oh, okay.
are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in...
I mean, Callus did a fantastic job. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similar... Anyway.
Ah, yes. What happened at the Opera House?
If you want to go through the...
That'd be much appreciated.
Of course. Why do you ask?
Well, you see, so... if you...
If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. If you try to make removing a serial number is all, so I can promise you, they're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Jokes aside, I'll be staying in the city.
Time to go.
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Sure. I will let...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as...
Oh, it's all right. I just wanted to...
Yes.
Oh!
That's right. I also witnessed your... To beat the Hydro Arc...
Oh, I'm
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is.
Uncle Marcel...
Yes, I was...
Exactly.
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Arrhenius by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilant...
Oh, you're giving...
Alas. But rest assured, Navia, if anyone dare...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. Do you have any new thoughts?
About that. The confrérie was... Then I heard the sound of a...
Oh, it's okay.
Sounds good. All my wealth comes from...
We've talked to all three
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
Anyway, even...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right!
According to Jacques...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective? Besides Jacques, it's obvious that our...
Do you think...
Given everything... But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Florent? But...
So you're saying...
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be... Uncle Marcel, and with funds from the still also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his... Thierry, you say? But...
Yeah, if the mecha were...
Who could it be? Suspect is not... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. We need far more...
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for...
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards?
Yeah.
Wasn't that place built specifically for
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that...
Yeah!
Well...
Wait,
That's what I thought. If the charge against him stands, then it...
Right.
Yeah.
Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Since this is You're right. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to...
We'll help you!
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get...
We heard. It's our hope.
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Arrhenius, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malou... Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the your Navia's probably...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearance?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that in which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend. I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointment.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. We have made very little progress. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the wrong man!
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court with a key eyewitness. But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your—
Oh, please! Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I'd gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is—
That person is— Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières!
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they—
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the— And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making—
Yes,
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he— Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between—
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance Jacques lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known...
In truth, the third person shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him. Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about... Something's not... The testimony of the... However, this assassin... A pile of clothing, but now it is clear since it was rain... Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your innocence.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last...
My second question has to do with the Then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been
I thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearance. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. all... Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice? Spina di Rosu, but by staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand. I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twist. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating, but kind of beside the point.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel teach you another lesson. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings and to stop rushing headlong into things. You'd have met
This isn't just about me. And it never... The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency has long been taken from them, the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Off we go! Into the wind! Teamwork is dreamwork!
Whoa! The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
One with nature.
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
The wind knows it.
guard down. It's fine.
Let's light it up!
One with nature.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Into the wind.
Now the path is clear. Let's go!
Stabilize. The wind knows me.
I'm going in!
Clouds high. The birds call. Brace yourself. This is gonna hurt.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mess. That's right. What's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment. No, the experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible and so you read the rest? Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that way, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it? No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would... In any case... What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Huh? You mean the girls from... And then they were turned into all the boxes of things. These names. Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water! That means this is where they make all the synth! And And that special water, if you dilute it with normal water, Paimon will take notes on this incriminating... Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes the... Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him. Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus because of a lack of confidence. This should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have no... The old dog's a real menace to deal with. He can act whenever... I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all just... And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial... Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stock sample? Whoa, there's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's... We've looked at almost everything here and yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals it. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, sure thing. You take that side, and Paimon will take this side. Ugh. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Venier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then... you found her... Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love... So many! A whole page's worth! The final name she decided... Marcel! Wait, but... Marcel's pretty old.
And whose image do you see, Mars? Is it a man named Vash? Oh, so you...
I've merely surprised...
I was waiting...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the... But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything! After your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you! You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache!
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial...
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vignier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! It's too late now. All those who were designed, you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the Vignere is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, but I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved. No matter what.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't go where she is, what choice? I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! Vignere! Please, Vignere! Don't think badly of me. All I want to do...
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia...
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review... The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher, and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignere. During an underwater expedition, Vignere accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea, and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others, and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignere back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel, and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expand after exchanging blows with Spina du... Although the assassinate... And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Lin. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial... The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges... According to the judgment of the Oratrice guilty.
Guards! Take the
Good. It's what he...
with that...
We really just...
Yippee! We have now... He's hurt so many innocent people and... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolute...
The day our late boss had always hoped for.
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol' happy end. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still—
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
Ugh, what now? None of the—
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been—
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over with.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is innocent of the charges. We now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice—
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the Oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it should—
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale. Guards, please take the—
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld. Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the Oratrice's judgment is the final verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it! I don't know what happened there either. Hey, stop staring at me!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either? But that's impossible. Didn't she create the Oratrice herself?
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be mistaken or be the result of some sort of random mishap? Don't tell me. You thought even I had—
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what was going on.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place, including my supposed shock and bafflement, was a part of an elaborate performance, with every action meant to stir up drama and excitement. And, of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. As the embodiment of the very concept of justice. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appeal. Everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, are beyond ordinary comprehension and completely unforgivable. All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually had. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
No time to lose.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing?
Stop resisting arrest!
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vache? I erased all records of that name.
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. And I just... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests like that?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants?
This request, is it worth as much to you as...
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct? Very well. I will grant your request.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave...
Thank you. Thank you!
No time to lose.
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing.
Vache.
Ah!
Yes, that's
Vignere, it's me! It's me, Vache!
Vache? Vache?
I'm here! I'm here! Where are you, Vignere? I'm coming for you. I'm fine.
Hey, wait! Be careful! Hey, what?
Vignere, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vignere!
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need you. You look a lot older than I remember. How long has it been?
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years since the day you left. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings like this? Vignere, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could...
But Vache... If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the Palais Mermonia itself. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone, with nothing but the... It's all because of your selfishness, Vache. It's all
You... Wait, you are not Vignere.
You're right. I am not Vignere. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea. And we were I'm Cressy. I'm Lemonade. I'm Azine. The only one I am not is Vignere.
Why? But then, where is Vignere?
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became? You are a liar, a heartless murderer, and a cowardly narcissist. The only thing you are not is Vignere's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignere's, she has had nothing but pure hatred.
No! Vignere! She can't hate me. Let me...
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignere. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her fine. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Ah, well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a good mood today.
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days. Paimon...
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always...
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia. What have you been busy?
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making everyone from Spina di Rosula organize a memorial for my father. We never this time, though. Everyone in Poisson, and even many people...
So his name's definitely been cleared now.
It's been the dearest wish.
Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte. Well, maybe it...
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of this... I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness. Secret Tales. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. So, she was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
Oh yeah, she told us about that. She's always been super interested in that case, so now her wish is finally...
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really cool.
Now that's another thing to look forward to. We trust Charlotte's skills with a pen for sure.
Oh, and in other news, I also took Clarand out for a meal.
Oh, are you two on better terms now?
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, Clarand gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time. So we took the chance to reconcile with each other.
Oh, that's great! Paimon also thought Clarand wasn't actually a bad person. It's always good to have more friends.
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to fade from the public consciousness. Oh, actually, there's still one last thing I need to do.
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what happened, as well as how it all ended. And on top of that, just how much people still look up to him, to this day. That includes me.
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go too! We also think Callus is a...
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share the moment with me. After all, without you, there might not have been such a positive ending.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering the recent weather...
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop for a few days now. This is where my father's grave is. To be perfectly honest, even I haven't been back here for a long time.
Huh? There's someone there already. Isn't that Neuvillette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Neuvillette. In any case, why did you come to Poisson?
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could, which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly, if not for his sacrifice. The serial disappearances case, Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many. And in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it all. A justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have noticed all of this much sooner. This regret has filled me with a sadness, It has haunted me for days. That high and mighty chair in the Opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
I'm sorry for... So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh? That reminds me of Silver, one of my guys.
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my strong suits.
Didn't I just say you don't need to...
So Navia and Neuvillette seem to have made... Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're done. Paimon's never paid Oh no! Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be too mad! Anyway, Neuvillette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so why don't we go talk to him?
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her father?
We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just followed her here.
I see, I see. Then is there something that I can help you with?
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this, since you're usually super busy. So we figured we could try to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor. Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. I'm sorry, but I've never... If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter, and had no reason to appear on the stage. Is there anything else? My apologies. My investigation. However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was... For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other traits, such as self-awareness. Which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like...
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add that to the... In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. We just... Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though, with her time-tested twin tricks of bravado and drama. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meripede. If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is an...
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
So, at court, the bad guys were...
Truthfully, that name is already... There used to be a special sea on the surface of this. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that...
So it really was where everything began. It makes sense to call it primordial...
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or...
So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything more...
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world. Is there anything...
So, at court, the bad guys were...
Truthfully, that name is all... There used to be a special sea on the surface. Most of Tevat's life forms were first... But today, the What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case.
So...
Indeed. Why would the To be frank, is there anything... That the sea level... Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Linny that told us back—
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy direct. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed away.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon? Wow.
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels, and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more vigilant. Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting information and intelligence from across— If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum—
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really—
Is there anything else you— Very well. It will soon be time for me to leave.
You really are—
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and—
All right. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.